Hello everybody. This is what some of you have been waiting for. This is a new segment I'm going to start on my YouTube channel. It's called Public Hunting Exposed. What I'm going to do is take you to some of these areas that I hunt on public land, and I'm going to show you how I hunt it, where I see deer, where I see turkey, elk. The first place I want to review is land between the lakes, and that's the place I went to this year 3 times, and I went to the Kentucky side, the north side of it. Now what I found, the deer up there, they're somewhere between what I'd call really wild deer and park deer. They're about halfway between. They're really not that spooky. I drove up on some, and some nice bucks, and they just stood there and looked at you, kind of like a park deer.
So one big buck I marked in red, kind of shining right where I saw the buck. So one big 8-point right here where Forest Road 149 runs in to 80, just a little bit back toward the east. One good 8-point right here, and this is Forest Service Road 316. And he was just right off the highway. There's a field, and he was up in that field right off the highway there, and I saw does there several times. There was a lot of sign around in there. I should have hunted there more, but I didn't. On up toward Lake Barkley, I saw one decent size 8-point off of 117, Forest Road 117, and it was probably 3/4 of a mile off the trace road that goes through. Now on up, I saw my biggest buck off of 113, not very far off the highway. He was on 113, and he was an 8-point, and his rack wasn't that big, but he was an absolute monster. And I filmed a deer or two right there too. Filmed another 8-point besides him right there in the same area, and a smaller rack buck.
He got by me. If I would have seen him coming from out from in here, I'd have had about a good 20-yard shot right there. And I thought he was going to come up and hit this trail, come down, but that'd have been a good shooter buck for a trad bow. My first good quality sighting up here at LBL. And on around on the highway, in the middle of the highway, between 113 and 112, standing in the middle of the highway fighting, were 2 bucks one night. Now, one of them was a small 8, one of them was a spike. And keep going on around and go past 112 a little bit, and I don't know what this road is, comes in 111 across this little road that comes in there too. Then there was a big high wreck 8-point there a couple of different nights, and the place I saw most of the bucks, there was a couple of 3 different bucks that was right here straight across 110. There's a field there, and there was always does there and bucks during the rut. LBL is basically, even on the Tennessee side, is basically just all hardwood. There's a little bit of pine on it, but in a few thick places, but it's mostly big timber with white oaks, red oaks, quite a few fields there that they planted soybeans and corn in. A lot of sign around those soybean and corn fields. A lot of deer sign around. I saw a turkey in one of them. I'll be doing a turkey series. This is the deer series on LBL. I'll be doing a turkey later on. I had a little bit of trouble on land between the lakes. When I got there, the leaves were falling, and a buck could make a scrape big as a car hood, and in 10 minutes it'd be covered up with leaves. The leaves that weren't coming down out of the trees, were being blown across the ground, and sign was just very, very difficult to find. And I'm a sign hunter. I'm from Alabama, and we typically down here, I guess these wetter, damper bottoms, deer make sign easier. Their tracks imprint in the leaves. Even if it hadn't rained, you can still see the imprints. And we've got enough deer where, you know, the good places, the good, what I call a hot white oak or a water oak, it might have 4 or 5 piles of droppings under it. And I didn't see any of that when I went to the land between the lakes. I had trouble finding sign. There was a few, you'd see scrapes. I mean, around in the fields, there was a lot of scrapes. And you'd see a few rubs, but it just wasn't like I expected. And I had a little trouble getting on deer. Now, if you're the type hunter who is really good at hunting the terrain, if you can look at a topo map and say, I want to hunt here, 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 then this place would be ideal for you to go right around the peak of the rut, maybe a little before the peak of the rut. Because if you're that type hunter, you don't need sign. You already picked out on the topo map where you want to hunt, and you just go there. And I suppose you probably look around and hope to see some sign, but you're not going to see a lot anywhere. So you're just going to have to hunt based on your instincts on where to hunt off the topo map. Now you're going to do real well because you don't have to have all the sign.
In a nutshell, it's a nice place. It's a huge place. You can find, definitely find places to get away from people, and you can find places you'll be underneath people, especially during the rut. But now I didn't see a lot of people. I didn't go before the rut. I wish I had. But anyway, I think it would be better for somebody like myself, somebody that hunts sign, and better at hunting sign than they are hunting terrain, to go early, maybe as late as the last of October. But once those leaves start pouring down right there at the end of October, it's hard to find sign. If you could get there, middle of October and hunt till around the end of October, I think the type hunter I am would be better served to hunt then. And the terrain hunter that really knows how to, read topo maps and hunt based off that would be better served going during the rut.